Tipp today in association with Slattery's of Pecan, your main Peugeot dealer for over 50 years in the Premier County. Slattery'sGarage.ie.
And you're very welcome back to Tipp Today, joined now by Cllr Seamie Morris. Good morning to you, Seamie.
Good morning, Fran.
And good to talk to you today. Thank you for your voice note earlier on, and there's a lot in it, but you're making the point that the government is blaming farmers and indeed hauliers at this point, Seamie.
Yeah, Fran, they're talking tough against farmers and agricultural contractors. Ordinary working people that the government have always said that they support us, get up early in the morning, do their work. But without the farmers and without the agricultural contractors, without the bus drivers, this country would crawl to a halt, because if they go out of business, there's no one to transport us around the country, and there's no one to bring the food to our shelves or bring anything into our hospitals to restock our hospitals. But really, when the government are talking tough, they should look at themselves, Fran, because Micheál Martin, Jim O'Callaghan, Simon Harris, they've all stood back and not only have watched two genocides. We're into our second genocide now. There's a genocide happening as we speak in Lebanon. They have enabled it, because our Shannon Airport is being used by the US military. We're not a neutral country. I don't know where this neutrality came out of. Our airspace is being used for weapons, for Israel to be restocked with weapons. The Irish government had an opportunity to take on Trump when they went over on St. Patrick's Day, but instead they kowtowed to him. They kowtowed to him when he started off in office and started to bully the whole world with tariffs. That was the time to take him on. But also the fact that the EU still has a favourable trading with Israel shows how weak we are, in Europe in particular, but how weak and mealy-mouthed our government ministers are when it comes to dealing with two genocidal tyrants, which is Trump and Netanyahu.
But the real politics, right, two different conversations going on here. Let's stick with Micheál Martin going to the White House with the ball of shamrock. I'm not sure. I mean, to be pragmatic about it, I mean, what would he do? What would he have achieved by taking on Trump at that point? And would it not have damaged the country, Seamie?
Could you imagine Micheál Martin going to Adolf Hitler with a ball of shamrock? Because literally, that's what we're dealing with now. We're dealing with two tyrants, genocidal tyrants. Fine, what's going on? What has gone on in Gaza? What's going on in Lebanon? My God Almighty, we're witnessing one genocide after another, and yes, we're not speaking against the people that are doing it, but we're taking it out on the people that are going out on the road and protest. The farmers, the agriculture contractors, and the bus drivers that are out on the roads at the moment are out for every one of us, because at the end of the day, if they go out of business, and Fran, they'll go out of business quicker than anything, because the amount of extra money that they're paying for fuel it's just not sustainable, Fran. But we have to reverse this, Fran. Why is what happening now happening now? Why are we in a fuel crisis? We're in a fuel crisis because that lunatic in America has decided that attacking Iran, that Iran would fold in 24 hours like Venezuela did. That wasn't going to happen, Fran. And now, yesterday, Israel dropped 100 bombs in 10 minutes in a populated area of Beirut. My God Almighty, Fran, who's going to stand up against these people? Thanks be to God, there's a very brave Prime Minister in Spain that has denied the Americans airspace and has also called for the EU to call off the favourable trading we have with Israel. We're tolerating Israel, Fran. We're tolerating the USA. Someone has to shout stop. Someone in time to come. People often said, when Mr. Hitler got on the road, why did nobody shout stop? And all of a sudden, then he had most of Europe taken, and there was millions of people died because of it. That's what we're facing at the moment. I mean, only for Iran having the Strait of Hormuz to use as a negotiating ability to negotiate with the rest of the world Iran would be plummeted into the ground. And that's what's going on at the moment. And we, as a country, are facilitating it and enabling it, Frank.
And that's playing into the situation that we're in at the moment. Can I ask? Can I put this to John O'Heaney as well there earlier on? I mean, diplomacy is a vital tool to have if you're a politician. You know that at council level. Can you believe the lack of diplomacy that you're hearing in the kind of language we've been hearing from Micheál Martin and Simon Harris? And now we have Jim O'Callaghan wading in, and they're talking about the Gardaí becoming involved in this and the armed forces beginning to... those images, I can't get over what those images will be like on our streets, Seamie.
Yeah, look, to be honest with you, I was a small bit taken aback with Micheál Martin's comments yesterday, because he's a great man to talk tough. He's been chauffeured around the country, Frank. When is the last time he put petrol or diesel into a car? The reality is people are angry with the wrong people. The people should be supporting the people that are protesting at the moment, because they're protesting for every one of us. As I said, Frank, everything in this country is brought to us by road. Every one of those people out there are trying to make a living. And if they can't make a living, they'll close up shop. And, some of the agricultural contractors, the people that are ploughing their lands, the people that are, doing all the work that enables food production, they have machinery, friend, that's worth up to €250,000 and probably more. They have bank loans out. If all that goes down, friend, we're in a massive financial crisis. And to be fair to them, they're trying to stand up for themselves. And when I hear someone saying that they have no mandate, this is the type of language that was used when they were talking about the Republican movement, and they ended up negotiating the Republican movement. So my statement to Ryan O'Mara and Mr. Murphy there is, get into government, tell them to step away from the type of language they're using, and talk to the people that are out there protesting at the moment. I know they're talking to the Road Hauliers Association, but they need to talk to these people, because these people were further angered with the language that was used yesterday.
Micheál Martin, what he said I thought was very telling. He said he's following international guidance from organisations such as the ECB and the IMF, which have developed frameworks for managing crises like this. This guidance emphasised targeted temporary measures. Nobody picked up on that. I can't get over that they didn't.
But Fran, that's verbal diarrhea. These people absolutely know how to talk down conversations and try and talk their way out of conversations. Look, at the end of the day, you're going to have to deal with the people that are on the streets in Ireland. It's not, believe you me, governments across Europe are using their own ability to talk to people that are protesting or whatever is going on in the rest of Europe, and it will come to the rest of Europe, Frank. Because to be fair to the French farmers and all the rest of it, we always admire the French farmers, Fran, when they go on strike and when they go and they get negotiations going by going out on the streets. And this is what we're seeing happening here now. It's pure sorry, friend, most of the people that are out in the streets at the moment are probably losing money by doing it, because this is their busy time. They don't want to be on the streets, but at the end of the day, they saw the fuel prices rocketing up over the last number of weeks. And friend, when the Irish government talk about the fact that they're doing what the rest of Europe is doing, remember this, friend. We have a thing called VRT on all our vehicles in this country. It's actually a tariff on all new vehicles being bought. That's not a European. That doesn't happen across Europe. It only happens in Ireland. So when they want to put tariffs on things, they go their own way. But they can't talk to people now, because they said the ECB and the IMF are telling them they can't. Of course they can, Fran, and they will talk to them eventually.
Well, I'm sure people were very heartened to know that advice will be delivered soon through education program to help people reduce their energy and to save money as well. So I'm sure that's going to be very helpful to people.
Fran, at the end of the day, they're bringing in new taxes now on fuel, and it's to do. They're telling us we're getting the money back in retrofits and all the rest of it. Fran, someone put out a message yesterday and showed where that money went over the. We're talking about cycleways that are not being used. We're talking about river walks that are costing hundreds of millions that are not being finished. That's the waste of money that has gone from people from the government taking extra taxes on fuel. Let's do a cost benefit analysis on the money that they're taking off of people in these new taxes, and see if they're efficient, and I bet you they're not.
What do you make, just finally, of what appears to be a fact is that, the hauliers and the farmers don't feel that they're properly represented by their organisations, by the farming organisations and by the road hauliers organisations. What does that say to you?
That doesn't surprise me, friend, because, the IFA and the Irish Road Hauliers Association have let down the people that they're representing in my eyes. They're very, very quick to go in and do deals. I'll give you an example. The pipeline to Dublin. The IFA went in and negotiated for farmers, literally to give away their own property for minuscule amounts of money for a project that hasn't got planning permissions and hasn't got an abstraction license. That's what the IFA do. They go in and negotiate, come out rubbing their hands and say, look, lads, we got you a deal. But at the end of this, friend, they have wiped out small farmers in this country. The IFA have literally wiped out small farmers. It's nearly all big landowners, big landowners that are left. That's what the IFA have done to people. I was really surprised a couple of weeks ago when the Irish Road Hauliers Association initially said they were going to do something, and then they didn't. And I suppose the people out there protesting at the moment have lost faith in the Irish Road Hauliers Association, and that's why they're on the streets now.
All right, Seamie, thanks for coming on with us today. Thank you. Good morning to you. This is Councillor Seamie Morris speaking to us there. 1800 938 007. The text and WhatsApp 083 311 3311. A listener disagreeing with Seamie, saying that he's misinformed by disagreeing with Trump and the Iran war. This needed to be done for decades, says one of our listeners. We finally found a strong president to deal with it. If the terrorist regime succeeded in producing nuclear weapons, fuel costs would be the least of our worries at that point. The fuel protesters are 100% right, and the government telling them to stand down is a complete insult. People are being bled dry at the pumps, with those in power sitting comfortably, completely detached from reality. Instead of fixing the mess that we've created, they would rather silence, and the people calling them out. It's arrogance, plain and simple, and people are right to be absolutely furious. And that comes in from Michael, who's in Cllr today. 1800 938 007. Now, we gave our TDs an opportunity to come on with us this morning. We've heard back from Seamus Healy so far, and I know Seamus is going to speak to us on the programme tomorrow. A couple of them, I think, are on holiday at the moment, but we'll see what we get back from them over the course of the next few hours.
Tipp FM's Tip Today.
With Slattery's Garage, Puck On. Main Peugeot dealers in the Premier County. And now stocking the full range of the luxury French car brand DS Automobiles. Book your test drive today with Slattery's Garage, Puck On. See slatterysgarage.ie.